Hi, and welcome back to my playthrough of Firefly. First of all, I have to say I'm a really bad employer. And here's why. I think you can remember when I did this job here, Jump and Hump the competition, where I said, hey, I don't have to pay the crew any money or give them their cut because it says here this is a special and as I don't get any money and blah 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 blah. I think you can't remember when I said that, and this is completely nonsense. As the rules are pretty clear about when to pay the crew their cut, and this is whenever a job is successfully completed, you have to give them their cut. Easy as that. So once more, the crew is pretty upset with me or with my job as a captain, and so they get their disgruntled tokens accordingly. I was also being told that I was a bit unclear about what happens when a warrant is issued when working on a job or doing a misbehave card like that one here. So in this case we have two options. So the first one says warrant issues, and this means again you get immediately such a nice little warrant token here, and this also means that the job is completely cancelled. So this goes back to the discard piles, will be not removed from the game, so someone else still can do this job later on, but for you this is basically over, so you have to give back this job, and you would also lose your reputation with the appropriate contact, so you are no longer solid with this contact. The second thing that says here temp botch, this is what how I explained that to you. Basically what happens when you go for the attempt botch, you discard all the misbehave cards you completed already, and then you are allowed to work on the job during your next turn. But finally, I think I can come back to my actual gameplay. So we headed over to Ariel in order to work on this hospital job here, which we received from Badger. The job requires a fake ID, which we, I think, bought from the spacebar during some of the last turns. We also need 2 of these mechanic symbols and also 2 of these diplomacy symbols, which is definitely not a problem. In order to get paid, we have to misbehave 3 times here, and we would also gain a nice little medic bonus here. It's still a little bit risky as all our crew is disgruntled now, so there are really some pretty nasty misbehave cards in this deck, but I think I will risk it, because the other way I would have to fly somewhere where I could take a buy action, and there I could go for a shore leave, and then I had to fly back, and this would cost me 2 complete turns, and this is nothing I want to do. So again, I will send my whole crew to the job. I'm really a little bit sad that we don't have any firearms right now. This could give us an additional firearms symbol. This is something really that is requested quite often in this game, especially doing these misbehave cards. But yeah, I think still I will risk it. So let's draw our very first misbehave card, and I knew it. This is really... come on. Just what I was explaining to you. This one says, knife fight. Brought a gun, eh? Requires firearm. You can just proceed. Unluckily, we don't have a firearm. The second option would be slice and dice. I would gain 3 additional symbols if I had any knife, but I don't have a knife. With Crow, so the character, I would be able to proceed instantly, but also nothing I can do here. So I think the only real chance I have is to go for this fight here. So let's quickly check our firearm symbols here. So these are 2 for Marco, and I think we have another symbol from the gun end here. So in total 3 symbols. We need to roll an 8, or basically we have to reach 8 points. So we need to roll at least a 5. Then let's hope for the best here. We need a 5, and no, that's a 3. In this case it's not that bad, the attempt is just botched, so again we are losing 1 turn here, and then we might be able to try it during our next round. Again we have to give away 1 of these disgruntled tokens, and in the new round we will do the hospital job again. So let's draw our very first misbehave card, and this says a bit of local color. We could go into a bar fight, which we have to use with kosherized rules. So basically we are not allowed to use any weapons for a character, so this is definitely important. But there are some characters in play who can ignore these kosherized rules, but we don't have such a character in our crew right now. And the second option would be we will blow a new crater in this little moon. And this is something we could go with a diplomacy check, but it says with Wash we would be able to proceed. And luckily Wash joined our ranks pretty soon in this game, so we just completed our very first misbehave card. This also means we get $200 additional because we just proceeded successfully doing a misbehave card. Let's check out our second misbehave card. There's no proceed on this card, so we have to deal with either of these options. And this says backwater deputies. First option, maybe we can work something out. This is again a bribe attempt. I think this is already something I think I will do. And the second option, there's only a couple of them, and then we would go into a fight, but this could really mean we could lose this job here, and this is nothing I want to do here. So I think let's check out our diplomacy symbols again to see how much we have to bribe these guys. And in total we have 5 of these diplomacy symbols. So 3 from Inera, 1 from Rash, 1 for our bona fide credentials. So we still need to roll at least 4. So if we would now pay $300 as a bribe, we would be allowed to proceed in this misbehave card. Luckily we get 200 back because of Kaylee and Wash, so this goes back into the bank, and this also means we can go ahead with our third and hopefully last misbehave card. So let's see what that is. And this says Old Vendetta, and this is a nasty card. We have again 2 options. So the first one, 1-on-1, choose 1 crew for fight. Kill chosen crew, a 10 would be botched, or on a 6+ we would proceed. The second option looks tempting because it says run like horridly pisspots. Requires transport, disgruntle all crew, then we would be able to proceed. And that's really bad news, and I think you know why. More or less all of my crew has a disgruntled token already. In this case only Marco, my boss, would take here an additional disgruntled token, but all the others would instantly leave me and return to the discard pile. For once I don't have to give them any share, but still it would take me ages to regain those, so I think this is definitely not an option to take. So rather I think I have to go with option number 1, and I will Marco handle this fight because he has most of those firearm symbols here. It says if I would come to the result of 1 to 4, kill chosen crew, attempt botch. Good thing about my captain is, about my leader is, whenever they are going to die, they just take a disgruntled token instead and would return to the ship. When a captain ever gets his second disgruntled token, or would get his second disgruntled token, he still stays where he is, so he still will stay your captain, but he would fire all other crew from your ship. So this is definitely also a problem. So let's really hope for the best. So we have to come up with a 6. We have 2, so we have to roll at least a 4. So that's a 50-50 chance, and really hope for the best. Fingers crossed. Yeah, wow, we are so damn lucky. I cannot believe it. So it says here, on the roll of 6+, we have a 7. We can proceed, and this also means this was our third and last misbehave card from this hospital job, so we successfully finished this job. Awesome! First of all, I still gain additional $200 because we progressed on a misbehave card, and then I will get $3,500 plus 400 for our medic, so that's $3,900, and this is, let's say, a very good reward here. This time I won't forget to give my crew their cut, but this one I won't pay. So he will leave us and will lose his disgruntled token, and he will be put back to the appropriate discard pile of the Space Bazaar, which I will do any second, but all the others I decided to pay because otherwise I would lose these guys as well. And this means I have to give them $1,000, which still brings me Nice $2,900. Which brings us to $11,900 in total. Remember, we have to reach 15,000 bucks until the end of the game, because we are doing the Bad Crime Does Pay solo mission here. So I think we are not doing too bad. As we are already solid with Badger, we don't have any use for this additional job cut here, so we will just remove this job completely from the game. And as our last action, we will use 1 fuel in order to do a full burn. And I think the plan is now to go to Regina here, because for once we can buy a firearm there. And we also have to do the shore leave, because I'm not really happy with my disgruntled crew here. Okay, let's do the actual movement. So this is our first step, still in alliance space. And this says the big black, keep flying. First card is already solved. Then we will go here into the room of patience, or space of patience. We have to draw a card from the border space, and this is also the big black, keep flying. Awesome. Then we will do our third movement here. Again, we have to draw a card, and this is another the big black, keep flying. Wow, we are really lucky. And then we come to the space of Niska here in Georgia Sun System, and now we could go for a premium salvage, and this would let us go for some parts. And there's also 1 ship upgrade for any discard pile, and this would mean a full stop. Let me think about that. And to be honest, I think I will risk it, because we could take 1 ship upgrade from any discard pile, and I just checked the discard pile of the Osiris Shipworks, and there is this nice little ship upgrade which says shiny new state-of-the-art compression coils, and this gives us the possibility to mosey up to 2 sectors, and we could ignore all breakdowns. Not that they're really a problem, because we have Kaylee and very good in mechanic, but still that's really awesome. And this is worth 1,600 bucks, so I think this is really something I will try to do. So going back to the salvage ops, we see that we have to reach at least an 8 here. We have 6 symbols in total, so this means we have to roll at least a 2. We also have Kaylee with us, who has the natural know-how, and this allows us to re-roll any mechanic test. Awesome! So let's roll our die here, and no problem here. This is a 5, and this allows us, to grab ourselves the ship upgrade, which would allow me to mosey up to 2 sectors. You see below our Yun key, and I've been told that this is translated as Lady Luck, so yeah, I can verify this, that we are allowed to have 3 ship upgrades. You can basically discard any ship upgrade anytime you want to replace it, that's not a problem, but still you're normally limited to 3 slots here. The salvage operations also tells us that we have to do a full stop, so with either of these results here. And this is not completely bad, as we are in the space of Niska. And as we are solid with Niska, we are allowed to sell him contraband for 800 bucks each. And this is definitely the best price you get for contraband in this game. Currently we have 6 contraband in our stash and the cargo hold. This would give us 4,800 bucks, and I think you can calculate this on your own. This would definitely bring us to the end of this game, as we have reached more than 15,000 bucks. I think not. I think we will do, at least we'll complete our very last job of Amnon Duel. Let me check that. Yeah, that's Amnon Duel. So we keep 2 of these contrabands here, and we'll deliver this to 3 Hills in Georgia, which is also not too far away, but still we would be able to sell these 4 contrabands to Niska, and this also brings us 3,200 bucks. Again, this time I'm really correct, we don't have to give the crew any cut here. And again, I miscalculated. We are already at 15,100 bucks here. Awesome! So I think I will still finish my job of Amnon Duel, And so I still have to discard one of these disgruntled tokens. I think I forgot that when I came to the space of Niska, so I dealt with him before I actually ended my game round here. Sorry for that. So right now this is now completed, and now I will spend another fuel cell. Unfortunately I cannot mosey to 3 hills in this turn, so let me think. 1, 2, 1, no. We don't come there with our up to 2 sectors mosey, so we have to go for a full burn. So that means we will go into Regina's space. Again, it says the big black, keep flying. Then we go to carry. And this says, what's that noise? That doesn't sound good. Breakdown. Good thing is we can just ignore breakdown, so we have to do anything here. And then we come to 3 hills, and there we draw our last card. And this is also the big black, keep flying, but we don't want to keep flying. We want to finish our job by Amnon Duel with their gun running. 3 hills, deliver 2 contraband to get paid. We are at 3 hills. We still have 2 contrabands in our hold or our stash, and this means we would get paid 2,200 bucks. We would gain a soldier bonus. We don't have any soldier with us. Nope, just check that. So we could now think of not paying our crew to lose them, but it really doesn't matter. So in this case I will be a nice employer, and so I will take myself 1,200 bucks here. Still, I have to give away one last disgruntled token here, which means we are still at, let me just count that, 9 disgruntled tokens which are left, and we finished our playthrough with 16,300 bucks. Not too bad, especially when you think that we still would have 9 turns left. And this ends my playthrough of Firefly. I think I showed you most of the stuff that's going to happen in this game. I think 2 things I was not so lucky to show you. Oh, there's still 1 fuel left. And this is of course for once the Alliance contact. So that's resolve immediately for outlaw ships in Alliance cruisers sector. And this would say you have to pay fines, so $1,000 per warrant you have. Then you would be allowed to clear all your warrants. Then all of your contraband and fugitives would be seized, including those in your stash. So in this case the stash doesn't help you. Then you have to roll for each of your wanted crew with this little symbol here. And on a roll of 1, he or she would be removed from the game. And if you are flying, you would go to a full stop. The second thing would be the Reaver contact, and this says resolve when starting your turn in the Reaver cutter sector. There are 2 options in this case, if we are lucky. Kill all passengers and fugitives. Then you have to roll a combat roll. Basically on a roll of 8 you only have to kill 1 crew. Oh, isn't that nice? And on the roll of 1 to 7 you have to kill even 2 crew members, and you would be allowed to evade. Evade just means you would go to one of the adjacent sectors. The second option is a little bit cooler, I think. That's the Crazy Ivan, and I think this came from the very first episode where Wash did this job. But this also requires you a pilot and a mechanic on your crew. You have to spend fuel, and then you would be able to evade. So meeting especially the Reavers is not very nice. I hope you had fun watching my playthrough of Firefly. I certainly did. I really noticed that the solo mission as it is way too easy, at least for someone who played this game already in a multiplayer version. You could imagine to maybe take 2 goals or maybe even all 3 of those goals. So this is really something you could imagine, or you could go for the last goal, which says successfully proceed past 20 or more misbehaved cards. But in the end that's basically not very different. So I think we also went through a hell of a lot of these misbehaved cards. Maybe there were not 20 but at least 15 or so. But okay, now maybe we are not successful with all of them. So I think this could be a little bit more challenging. But really I think combining 2 of these goals might really give you the appropriate challenge in order to make it not too boring. And I think I will keep my rule, and I'm really thinking of bringing this rule into normal multiplayer version as well. So when anytime one of these Alliance cruiser would move here with his cruiser patrol, then I'm really tempted to keep rolling. So on the roll on 1, 2, 3, I would just move him 1 space ahead, and on the roll of 4 to 6, we would move the cruiser ship 2 sectors away. I think this is really something we are doing. One additional thing that we found a little bit better to bring more randomness and more competition into the game is to play this card a little bit differently. All these cards, so even if it's a cruiser patrol or if it's a reaver contact or reavers on the hunt, I think reaver on the hunt is the appropriate card. It says player to your right must move alliance cruiser 1 sector within alliance space, and we kept that, or we thought it would be pretty boring that always your right neighbor would do the trick to you. And so we also came up with a little house rule here. Again, we would roll a die, and on the roll of 1, 2, 3, the neighbor to your left would move the alliance cruiser 1 sector within the alliance space, and on the roll of 4 to 6, the normal player to your right would do that. We definitely found that pretty, or it would be definitely the better fit, because in this case there would always be the same guys who would torture you. Still, I hope you enjoyed my playthrough of Firefly here. Hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. Not sure what I will be doing. I'm open for suggestions or requests, so please don't hesitate to give me your comments and such, and I will try to, or I will see if I can make them real. Until then, bye bye.